I was extremely nervous. I was out in Hawaii, and I had written a verse for Monster, and he said, I think you could do better.
In the hip-hop world, Nicki Minaj has always been the center of attention because of her fast flow and sharp words. She has been on top of the Billboard charts, magazine covers, fashion runways, and social media feeds for more than 10 years. With her bright personality, never-ending list of hits, and dedicated fan group, Nicki Minaj is one of the most popular and important hip-hop artists of all time. But despite her artistic skill and obvious fame, Minaj has been involved in some controversial situations, from spats with other artists to legal fights. She has navigated her share of adversity. A guy named Garrett has filed a case against the rapper, saying that he used to manage her. This has brought the artist even more attention.
Well, I'm wearing my own perfume. It's called Onika, and I gave it the other day. I was with Madonna, and I gave it to her, like a half of a bottle, because she loved it so much. And I hate leaving people without it. So
that's how you know you're a superstar. Madonna comes up, you're like, here, girl, have some of my scent.
I sent her for her and her children, a whole bunch of them, and I'm gonna send it to you guys.
Oh, hey,
yeah,
great
Christmas stuff.
To get you working on a men's scent for me now.
I would love to. I would love to. That's next. Work on that venture.
He says that Minaj touched him during an event that happened backstage in Detroit. The Detroit cops have asked for a warrant based on Garrett's version of what happened. The Wayne County Prosecutor's Office is now looking into the case to see if criminal charges should be made, but Nicki Minaj has not been officially charged. Her name once again finds itself splashed across news as fans and observers alike wait to see how the legal process might play. Brandon Garrett says that he was Nicki's manager, but the details of when he worked for her or what his duties were as manager have not been made public outside of the lawsuit papers. According to Garrett,
And he was like, who is this girl? He was just putting Young Money together. So he called up my people, and I just went out there to meet him, and we just kept on recording and stuff like that. And then little by little, more and more people started being a part of Young Money, and that's how I met him. We joke around a lot, he has a great sense of humor, and I always kind of like mess with him. He's a businessman, so I handle it as such. He's the president, and that's what he is to me.
There was a time back in April 2024, following one of Nicki's live performances when he was called to her dressing room. Garrett says that she was angry that he had at one point told someone else to pick up one of her prescriptions instead of taking care of it himself in his claim. Garrett claims that Nicki went into a rage, issuing ominous statements telling him his life was over before she struck him in the face with an open hand. He also says she hit him so hard on the wrist that he dropped the papers he was holding. These claims make up the crux of his civil claim, which includes counts of sexual battery and an intentional infliction of emotional distress. Because of how these claims are written, Nicki could be held civilly responsible as well as criminally responsible, depending on how the Wayne County Prosecutor's Office weighs the evidence given to them for criminal prosecution to go forward. Officials usually need probable cause to think a crime was committed and that Nicki did it.
It was just like, whoa, what is this? It just sounded so dope and fresh and interesting. And it sounded new and old at the same time, like ancient. And I was like, wow. Anyway, so once I was able to get them to do it, and Phineas go back and forth and do the beat and all of that stuff, and even get Billy to be cool with the idea, it was like I knew that I wanted it to be the intro from the very first second.
If the prosecutor decides that Garrett's version of events is believable and that the evidence meets the threshold for criminal charges, likely some form of, say, they could issue charges that would thrust Nicki into a legal fight far more serious than most civil disputes. However, if the prosecutor finds the allegations insufficient or contradictory, they might decide not to file charges. That choice would leave Garrett's civil lawsuit as the main legal battleground. It's important to note that while Nicki Minaj's position as a high-profile celebrity often results in intense public scrutiny, the criminal justice system follows a legal standard of review that ostensibly looks beyond public attention and focuses solely on whether the facts of the case indicate criminal behavior. The Wayne County Prosecutor's Office has not yet made any word pointing one way or the other. The fact that a warrant request has been made means that the police decided there was at least enough information to pass the matter along to prosecutors. But it does not confirm how strong the evidence might be, nor does it guarantee that formal charges will be filed. The lawsuit story states that Nicki's anger was triggered by what she viewed as an act of negligence on Garrett's part.
He wasn't really happy, but I knew that when he came to be with us, we were gonna be happy. Like, he is this amazing, great Trinidadian chef and just a great person, like one of those party people, like whatever, lives up the whole house.
Allowing a stand-in to pick up her prescription. One of the more intriguing aspects of this alleged incident is the idea that Nicki would react so intensely to something that, at least from an outsider's perspective, might seem like a minor logistical detail. However, for an artist of her stature with security concerns and the desire for strict privacy, it's possible that having someone else handle a sensitive errand could be seen as a breach of trust. Still, the explosive reaction like the one described in Garrett's case raises important questions. In the case, it could be dismissed, it could withdraw it, though it might leave the door open for the city prosecutor to continue looking if they think a crime was still committed. If charges are indeed brought, the prosecutor must show guilt.
How much I love him, and he understands now. And then one person, he was just laughing.
Like, ha ha ha, or
like that. Yeah. He was like texting me, kind of like, it was kind of like a mix between cursing me out and laughing at it. But I didn't know. I just kept putting like this crying face emoji so that it can, like, you know, make things not as bad.
For conviction in criminal court rather than in a civil case, be a guilt, seasonal reasonable doubt, civil cases require only a preponderance of the facts, evidence. It's more likely than not that the wrongdoing occurred, a significant difference. Event ultimately wins in the civil case, but that does not necessarily mean a jury in a criminal trial would find Nicki guilty and vice versa. These processes can unfold in complicated ways, often with the criminal case taking precedence.
Everyone has an opinion, and also I'm never mad when people say that. Whenever people give me constructive criticism, like if somebody tells me you could have went harder on that, I accept things like that. I have an issue when the criticism seems like it's personal or like from a bad place.
There is a chance Nicki might claim her Fifth Amendment rights to avoid self-incrimination during the civil proceedings if the criminal case is still pending. Height might have dreamed of a prince to solve her problems. This real-world stakes wand can wave away the next Kawe. The saga is about Sagafold and Evrenfold, waiting to see whether Snow White 2025 will be the victory Disney won or the cautionary tale critics are predicting. Will Disney have a chance, or has it pushed its luck too far with the rewriting of a beloved classic?